Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the War Paint Garage. Today's video is just going to be a quick video to show you guys an improvement that a company has made over a really crucial bolt set on a Dana 60 or a corporate 14 bolt axle. It's going to prevent a lot of problems out there on the trail and give you that reliability in those harsh off-road environments. And heck, even in some on-road environments, if you're doing a lot of heavy-duty towing and things like that with a rig, not necessarily a Jeep, right? But maybe a Super Duty pickup truck or something that has that axle in it. So stick around, check it out. All right, guys, so as you can see on a 14 bolt axle, the only thing that keeps this axle shaft engaged with your differential are these bolts around the flange, right? If you were to unbolt these on a full float axle, you can slide your axle shaft right out of the housing and remove it, right? Well, the problem in harsh environments off-road is that you're only torquing these to the torque spec. On the 14 bolt, it actually is 115 pound-feet. And over time, with the jarring and the vibration and things like that off-road, these bolts can actually loosen up. And as soon as they loosen up, you can also shear them off. Okay, I've seen that a number of times with an aired down tire, locker, even an okay amount of horsepower. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, because when you gear it down so far, right, that torque load multiplies, right? When that multiplies, you can shear all these bolts off, lose your axle shaft, break your axle shaft inside of your differential, and lose your diff fluid. All right, so in comes Stage 8 fasteners. Now, Stage 8 Fasteners has a patented, really unique design. They've been around for about 25 years or so. They've had this application and this style bolt in a number of different racing and off-road environments, as well as RVing, motorcycles, things like that. And they have a 0% failure rate, okay? Or a 100% success rate with this bolt application. So you don't need to see me unthread a bolt. You don't need to see me thread in a new one. But after I do that, I'm going to show you guys what makes this bolt so special. All right, as you can see behind me, I have swapped out all of these bolts, okay? And I've traded them out for bolts like these. Now, obviously, these are newer, shinier, cleaner. But the difference between these two bolts is the head of the bolt. If you can tell, the original bolt is just a hex head shaped bolt, 3/4 inch. This one is a 12 point and it's 1/2 inch, right? Obviously the thread is the exact same so that it'll go back in, but this is a much higher quality bolt. It will handle more torque. Of course, torque it to the max, you know, the recommended torque specs from the factory. But once you do that, the really cool thing that separates these bolts is the way the head of this bolt is kind of shaped. If you can see, it has a little groove in there, and the reason it has that is so that this locking tab, this bridge, can basically fit over it. So originally, these bolts can loosen, right, with vibration, things like that. But if you lock this bolt to this bolt, like I've done in these, then these bolts will, in order for this one to loosen, this one also has to turn, and they both can't turn if they're connected with a bridge. So it holds them in position. And then the way that you get these bridges to stay on is with a locking tab that you would just insert in that groove that was there in the bolt head that I showed you a second ago. It's kind of hard to do this with one hand and holding a camera, but there we go, right? So that basically holds this bridge on. I can't get it off anymore. You're gonna put one of those all the way around on every single one of these bolts. And this little tab, that bridge, and the way this bolt is designed, okay, has a 100% success rate. The company holds a ton of patents over a bunch of different kinds of bolt designs. And the cool thing about Stage 8 fasteners is if they don't make a bolt for your application, okay, or for something that, you know, there's a demand for, their engineering to figure it out for you is free, right? So they'll put the time in, they'll put the engineering in, and will, you know, get you the bolt that you need to make sure that your bolts stay together and don't come out. Another benefit to this is also when these bolts just loosen, even if you don't shear them off, when they loosen, the gasket or the RTV behind this axle shaft flange can start to fail and drip, right? Obviously, you would see gear oil running down the inside of your wheel or potentially the outside of your wheel, and that's a noticeable thing. But if you're off-road and you're dunking it underwater and things like that, and this seal is just starting to get loose, you get some water in there, that can ruin a very expensive diff very, very, very quickly. So I highly recommend, guys, Stage 8 fasteners because, again, how can you argue with a 100% success rate? If you look up these factory bolts, nowhere near a 100% success rate. All right, especially in the off-road industry or the racing industry. All right, guys, so there you have it, right? Stage 8 Fasteners, really awesome company, 100% made in America, patented in America, small business. Their customer service is awesome, 100% success rate, 0% failure rate, right? However you want to think about that. And they just make awesome stuff. So reach out to these guys in California, get yourself a set of these, and have the security that comes along with it. All right. Stay tuned. Check out the other videos. Thanks.